From inside the house came a voice, low and hurried, not frightening in its tone, which was the frightening thing about it. It sounds like reading aloud, like someone's in there had a book and was going through it at a slow, patient pace. I couldn't make out words, only the cadence. Rise and fall, and underneath it, so subtle, I might have invented it, something that could have been humming. A second voice, lower still, keeping a note steady beneath the words like a hand on a person's back. I stood up. I backed off the porch. I turned south, what I believed was south based on the sky, and I walked. I counted. I did not run, because some other instinct told me that running would be the wrong answer. That the whatever was in the woods recognized running as an invitation. So I walked. 1, 2, 3, in a straight line. My eyes on the tree line ahead. Behind me, the reading voice paused. I felt it the way you feel a change in pressure before a storm, a shift in quality of the air, a breath held. Then the reading resumed, but slowly now, more slowly than before, as if whatever was inside that turned a page it found something that required more care. I walked faster. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, the rhythm going ragged. And then I saw it through the trees. The orange rectangle of my grandmother's kitchen window. I came out of the tree line at the edge of Grandma's iris yard at 8:17 in the evening. My grandmother was on the back porch with a flashlight and a face I had never seen on her before. A face that was working very hard to stay composed and doing only a partial job of it. She ran to me. She held me. She was shaking in a way that made me understand, for the first time, that grown-ups could be as afraid as children. "Where did you go?" She kept asking me. "Nora, where did you go?" "I went past the red stone," I said. "I'm sorry, Grandma." She pulled back and looked at my face, and then she looked at the tree line over my shoulder. And something passed across her expression that I didn't have a name for at 8, but I have a name now. It was recognition, not surprise. She had expected this or something like it. She had known that the woods had a habit of taking children and giving them back. But that giving back was not the same as returning. I was gone for 6 hours. I didn't feel it. I would have said 40 minutes, maybe an hour at most. My grandmother never asked me what I saw in the woods. I thought at the time she was sparing me. I think now she already knew and preferred for it to remain unspoken, the way certain people prefer not to read the name of the illness aloud. She boarded up the gap in the fence at the back of the property that winter. She never told me why. There was one other thing, something I didn't tell my mother, or any of those various adults who spoke to me gently about my adventure in the woods, in the weeks that followed, when I came out of the tree line and into the yard, when I felt grass underneath my feet instead of roots. I turned around once, just once, I couldn't help it. At the edge of the trees, at the place where the forest ended and the yard began, there was a shadow. Not attached to anything, not cast by anything I could identify, just a shape, about the height of a person standing very still in the last of the light. And as I watched, he traced one hand, slowly, with a patience that made my throat close, in a gesture that was unmistakably a wave, not threatening, not beckoning, just, "I see you. I know where you live now. I'll be here when you come back." I have not been back. I moved to Chicago at 18 and I lived on the 14th floor, and the nearest tree to my apartment is a ginkgo on the sidewalk that I have checked carefully for carved spirals. It doesn't have any. Not yet. I look up the property records for my grandmother's land 2 years after she passed. I don't know what I was looking for. Some people, for they can't stop thinking about a thing, go looking for the paperwork on it. Like the official record of something might finally make it feel finished. I found one entry I didn't expect. In 1962, before my grandmother bought the land, there was a complaint filed with the county. A note from the previous owner about a structure in the woods to the south of the property. A hunting cabin. The record said, abandoned. The complaint asked the county to assess it for removal. It was marked, reviewed, with no further action. I tried to find it on satellite maps. The forest canopy is too thick, you can't see the ground. My therapist says I have excellent coping skills. She says I have built a very functional life. She says the mind does remarkable things to protect us, and she is not wrong about it. But some nights, I wake at 2 or 3 in the morning with a specific and total certainty that somewhere in a small house in 50,000 acres of Minnesota pine, a candle is lit in a porch railing. A tiny cot sits beside it, steaming, and something inside is reading aloud in a low and patient voice, keeping its place carefully, unhurried, waiting for me to be ready. 1, 2, 3.